Today we got the story of this kid who's being a real spoiled brat, so the subscriber decides to scare him into believing that Freddy Fazbear is real as a form of getting him back, and it's pretty funny. Leave a like in the video to claim your free nothing, and let's call the subscriber Clayton. So anyways, there's this spoiled kid in Clayton's class, and this kid is really just a brat, and for the rest of this video, I'm just gonna call him Spoiled Kid, because like, if you guys watched last video, I had two names, and I kept mixing them up, and I'm so sorry about that. My brain is just too small. But anyways, right, so one of these days, you know, Clayton and everyone else in his class gets an invitation to the spoiled kid's birthday party, and you might be thinking, oh, this is like kind of a nice invitation, but no, in fact, it was just his mom sending out the invitations, and the spoiled kid was really just just trying to present farm. He was just trying to get as many presents as possible, as on the invitation it says, please bring a present. And anyways, right, so, you know, Clayton shows up, and Clayton is determined that he is going to have, even though this kid is kind of a jerk, he's going to have the best time possible at this party, because, hey, man, look, there's free cake, there's, like, arcade games, like, dude, he's going to have a good time, man, nothing's going to stop him. However, the spoiled kid eventually does something pretty bad that, I mean, you'll see in a second. So anyways, right, Clayton gets there, and all the other classmates are there, and so is the spoiled kid, and they go around playing some, like, you know, some arcade games or whatever, and because it's the kid's birthday, right, you know, the spoiled kid gets like extra tickets, which that's totally fine. It's his birthday. That's pretty normal. But when things start getting bad is when they go to the opening presents segment of the birthday party. So anyways, right, the way that this was going to be done was, you know, the kids, they all, like, had their presents with them. The parents were holding on to the presents, but eventually, right, all the parents would hand the presents over to the kids, and the kids would go up and individually hand them over to the spoiled kid, and the spoiled kid would open them. And, you know, in theory, he would say thank you and be very gracious for anyone giving him gifts on his birthday, but you already know that this kid is going to be a massive jerk here. So anyways, right, it's eventually time to, like, you know, give presents and open them. And yeah, sure enough, right, so let's just call this kid Ben. He was friends with Clayton, and he was also in the class, so he was invited to the birthday party. And Ben's mom hands Ben, you know, his present, and, you know, Ben walks up to the spoiled kid with his present, hands the spoiled kid his present, and awaits, like, a reaction, right? So the spoiled kid looks at the present, like, before the wrapping paper, starts to open it up, unwraps the entire thing, looks at it, and he doesn't even, like, have no reaction, bro. The spoiled kid, bro, he frowns. He doesn't even have no reaction. Like, maybe you're not gonna burst into, like, I don't know, happy dances or something when you get a present you don't totally want, but at least maybe, you know, force a bit of a smile, look at them, say thank you, I appreciate it, like, because, bro, people don't know exactly what you want. Like, it's just a matter that, it's just the fact that they got you something. It's just like, it's the thought that counts. But bro, when the spoiled kid saw what he got, like, from Ben, he looks at Ben and he's like, really? Did you not even look at the list of things I wanted? This was definitely not on the list my mom gave out. And Ben is like, oh, like, the stuff on your list was just like, you know, it was pretty expensive. We couldn't get it. And the spoiled kid is like, really? You couldn't afford that stuff? Wow. You are broke. Next. And he literally just, like, looks, like, to the next person in line as if, oh my god, Ben had failed him by giving him such, like, a poor present or whatever, something like that. At this point, Clayton's like, hey, bro, like, that's not cool. Like, you don't have to like the present, but, like, you know, the thing is, right, you know, you don't even have to pretend to like it. You can just be like, oh, like, appreciate it. Like, even if you're not, like, super enthusiastic, at least don't, like, frown and be like, yo, you're too poor to get me a present I want, and, like, try and humiliate him in front of everyone. Like, that obviously isn't cool. So eventually, right, you know, Clayton goes up to him, and he's like, uh-oh, like, I also did not get something from this kid's wish list or whatever. Like, he's definitely gonna come down for me. Because this kid had actually given a few, like, genuinely happy reactions, but that's only when people got him stuff that was on his, like, super expensive wish list, like $100 Lego set, or, like, something very expensive like that. And some kids had actually got ahead and done that because their parents, I don't know, were just balling or something. I know I definitely would not be doing that if I was one of the parents. If I went to a birthday party and the kid said, yeah, I want this $200 Lego set, bro, I'd get them the $10 Lego set. That's jokes. I'm not doing that. But anyways, right, eventually Clayton walks up to the spoiled kid and he's like, aha, here's my present. The spoiled kid looks at the present and is like, this is not in the shape of anything on my wish list. And Clayton's like, So anyways, right, you know, the spoiled kid opens the present, and, you know, it just looks so disappointed, and it's just like, Clayton, it's just the best you could do. At this point, Clayton's like actually offended. He's like, yes, like, you're welcome, haha. And Spoiled Kid is like, whatever, man. Like, okay. And just like literally, like, not even joking, he throws the present, like, he throws the present to the side. Like, man doesn't even like no appreciation. Even if he doesn't like the present or is like gonna return it or throw it away afterwards, you didn't have to throw it on the floor. You didn't have to show your disrespect up front. So anyways, right, this continues on, and the Spoiled Kid reacts positively to some more presents, but he also kind of acts like a jerk for some other presents. So eventually, right, Clayton finds the other kids and, or at least the other ones that he remembers that, like, the Spoiled Kid was extra mean to, extra rude to for no good reason. And he goes and finds them. He's like, hey, like, I don't know. I think this kid was kind of out of pocket for that. And all the other kids kind of agreed that, even though it was the Spoiled Kid's, like, birthday party and it was his birthday, you still can't, like, react like that when you're talking about presents or whatever. So, they decide to cook up a plan to kind of troll this kid. And instead of telling you the plan, I'm just going to tell you what they did. So anyways, right, so they go and find the Spoiled Kid, and they're like, hey, man, like, since it's your birthday, we wanted to, like, show you something really cool. And the Spoiled Kid was like, okay, but don't waste my time. And, they were like, oh, no, it's really cool. It's really interesting. Like, I'm sure you'll find it fun. You'll find it very interesting, right? So, they get to the Spoiled Kid, and they're like, hey, let's, like, come with us. We'll show you what we're talking about. So anyways, right, so it's Clayton, it's a couple other kids, and it's a Spoiled Kid, and they walk out, and they go out of kind of, like, the place they were in. So they were inside of a mall, because this was, like, some kind of, like, Chuck E. Cheese-esque type place, because it was, like, they could go play, like, arcade games, they had pizza, cake, whatever. It's, like, a typical birthday place inside of a mall. So they're walking out of the mall, and the Spoiled Kid is like, where are you guys taking me? And Clayton's like, dude, don't worry about it. Like, that's part of the surprise. So anyways, right, they eventually walk all the way down to this, like, somewhat abandoned place. In the mall when, like, a shop closes, and it's like, you can still see some of the signs and, like, decorations from the store, but it's, like, it's all empty, it's closed, it's locked down. But anyways, right, so they go to this place that's, like, closed, and Clayton looks at the Spoiled Kid and is like, hey, do you know, like, why this place closed down? And the Spoiled Kid is like, no, I don't know. And Clayton's like, oh, so there was this place used to be kind of a rip-off Chuck E. Cheese. It was called Freddy's Pizza Place. He's kind of looking at his friends like, what do I say here? What do I say? And the Spoiled Kid's like, okay, go on. And, Clayton goes on to say, yeah, so it used to be called Freddy's Pizza Place. And there's these animatronics there. And they actually had to have the place shut down. And it wasn't because they weren't doing good business. In fact, it was doing great business here, right? But the problem was that there was a bit of a cover-up because this kid disappeared. And they said that the kid was, like, kidnapped or something, but the kid was not kidnapped. And the Spoiled Kid is like, oh, go on, I guess. And, Clayton's like, they don't really know why, right? But the main animatronic, this is what I've been told, the main animatronic, the bear one, someone went inside the animatronic and, this kid was, like, separated from the group. And, the guy in the bear animatronic, he apparently, like, captured him. And, neither the animatronic, the worker, or the kid were ever seen again. And to avoid some massive police investigation, Freddy's Pizza Place is immediately shut down with, like, no notice or anything. And everyone there vacated. And the FBI are currently investigating the situation. And the Spoiled Kid's like, this happened in our hometown? Oh my god. At this point, right, Clayton was like, okay, thank God this kid doesn't know what Five Nights at Freddy's is, because that was like an issue in the plan. If the kid knew about FNAF, the thing was over. And the Spoiled Kid's like, do you think they're still inside? By the way, these kids are in 3rd grade. This would never work on anyone above the age of, like, 7 or whatever. And so Clayton says, I don't know, like, we could definitely check inside. And the thing is, right, for some reason, while the place was closed down, the door was unlocked. Clayton and these kids, like, checked earlier, and they figured out that the door was actually unlocked, which is a win for them for what you're about to see. So the Spoiled Kid's like, dude, I don't want to do that. It's too scary. And Clayton's like, dude, we need to do it. And he's like, okay. To this day, Clayton still doesn't know why the Spoiled Kid just went along with it, but he did. So anyways, right, I'll give you a little heads up. One of the kids that was, friends with Clayton and also got, roasted by the Spoiled Kid during the present thing, he, went to a local store, like one of the local, like, costume shops, bought a Freddy Fazbear mask, and was hiding inside of the abandoned store. So all of them walk in, and Clayton's like, says very loudly, all right, so I wonder if this place is actually abandoned. And that was like the cue to the kid to like jump out and scare them. So sure enough, right, you know, Clayton and the other guys kind of step behind like the spoiled kid. And the spoiled kid is like shaking at this point because he was just heard of this story of this like animatronic bear that like captured some kid. And sure enough, right, behind one of the counters, right, this kid kind of like stands up but doesn't stand up all the way. So it's like just a Fredbear mask that's like apparent and goes like, oh. And the spoiled kid, bro, the shriek that he let out and ran away. This kid had never ran this fast before. This guy is not a track star, but this guy could definitely compete in the Olympics after the way he ran away from this. But anyways, right, Clayton and the other kids, they want to make sure that it's not suspicious, so they run away too, and they pretend to be scared as well. So they all run back, and the spoiled kid, by the time that Clayton and the other kids get back to the party, the spoiled kid is like in tears, and he's explaining to his mom that there's like some evil person or some Freddy like there's some bear costume attacking me. And you know, Clayton and the other kids are like, oh my god, like we just explored a place and there's someone who like scared us or whatever. And eventually, right, you know, the parents actually do like tell the mall cop or whatever, and the mall cop, instead of, you know, thankfully he didn't check the security camera, which would have made sense. I think he just wasn't trying to like do his job. He's like, oh, I'll go investigate, because if he actually did check the security camera, he would have seen it was just like Clayton and his friends. But yeah, they never got caught, and it was definitely, and the spoiled kid got pretty trolled.
Click on the video on screen right now. I know you'll enjoy it. Just click it, do it.